Hello everyone. Today Yukiko and I are exploring this YouTube video, Learning Language, created by Steve Kaufman. So the title is The Most Underrated Element of Language Learning. Yes, so Yukiko, how do you like the video?
I didn't see all of the video. I didn't see so yet. So only few days, few minutes. So that's why I didn't know. I didn't know well.
Okay, let's see how the things goes. So the main point that he explored in his video is that engagement. Okay, so Disan, today's our guest, Disan. Welcome to our content. So what do you think about engagement when it comes to learning language? Disan, hello.
Yeah.
Do you have any opinion about like engagement, how it's important or less important, or?
Yeah, to me, I think it's very important to stay engaged, and then have great motivation and keep practicing every day.
So do you care about your engagement? How you can and how much you can engage in the content when you work on something? Or it's not always that something that you're paying attention to.
Well, I do pay a lot of attention. So usually I spend times to do a little research on what kind of videos or which kind of channels that I should watch, and then if I find it interesting, I will stay.
And if not, you just move on, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see. Let's listen the first part of this video. I'll play and you guys listen to it. Here we go.
Guess too that it sort of relates to dopamine. There's dopamine in anticipation of an activity, and there's dopamine after the reward.
Sorry.
I may have mentioned before that if a parent reads to his or her child, but reads.
Internet slow. Yukiko-san, internet okay?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. Let me see.
I may have mentioned before that if a parent reads to his or her child, but reads.
Yeah. This is
something that is of interest to the parent, that the parent is familiar with. If the parent is a doctor, it might be something having to do with recent medical discoveries or something of that nature. The toddler is going to learn more vocabulary and is going to be more engaged with that than if the parent reads a story that the parent is not very interested in. To some extent, their interest in the subject matter, their enthusiasm for the subject matter is transmitted to the child, and the learning opportunity is enhanced. In the same way, in our learning, if we can be engaged with, emotionally connected to what we're doing, we're going to have more success. Now, it turns out that this ability to engage with what we're doing, or the importance of this sort of emotional attachment, increases as we grow older. And this is...
Yeah, and this is based on research. Okay, so this part, what the Steve Kaufman guy said, Disan, what did you listen to?
Yeah, so he said that if people watch some interesting contents and they learn, for example, vocabulary, they find it interesting, so they can stick to that.
Yeah. Okay, Yukiko-san, what was his example to support this main point? What's the story he shared here?
Okay, so reading the book. So, for example, if so, you are doctor. The parent, if our parents.
Yeah, that's right. Who read the book?
So the parent, and the parent is a doctor. So 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 more engaged is
Yes. Okay. So, for example, if parents read a book to their own child, and the book is about medicine, so there are two cases. If parent is working for this medicine industry, and other scenario, if parents are not familiar with medicine industry, so how the scenario goes differently?
So the not to catch it, not to learn more vocabulary.
Yes. So his explanation, he said like this: the subject matters to the parent. Subject doesn't matter to the parent. So if the subject matters to the parent, what's the phenomenon? What the influence happens?
If that matters to the parents, then they would like engaged to it.
Yes. So that affects listeners like engagement. So the parent is reading it, right? So parent is just reading the one, like devoting one action, and child is receiver. But if this giver engaging their action, then receiver get more. This affects the receiver's action. Receivers, like, yeah, how much they can receive. Receiver's reaction. Okay, Yukiko, are you okay?
Yes, okay.
Yeah, if the subject doesn't matter to the parents, then what you cannot expect is, for example, first of all, reader, the listeners are not interested in that much. Why? Because the person exactly like reading that story or content, which in this case parents is not interested in, then what the hell, how the listener also can be interested in? That's the thing. You looks really difficult today. Okay, tell me about your question. Yes, go.
No question.
Really?
No question.
Okay, and what he said, it's important. What's from this example? What he said important, Yukiko?
Important. So engagement is important. What do you interest? What are you interested? So you should try to read, or you should try to do something what you are interested in.
All right. So, and also another point, engagement, and one more point he said. Disan, do you remember? Engagement and...
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
Yeah. Okay. No worry. Yes. Hold on. Let me type out first. So they can learn more vocabulary by spiel, by example. For example. Okay. So child is not interested in either. Okay. So another point he said is emotional connection. So the parents are really enthusiastic towards this subject that matters. That's why, like, child can feel that like enthusiasm then they feel this emotional connection, because if they can understand what they are interested in, what they are enthusiastic for, then they can bond more strong emotional connection. So emotional connection is, yeah, kind of like a working in this transaction involvement. Okay, so what he said is emotional connection and engagement, these two big items. Engagement leads to better learning outcome. So, especially, it's not like the stranger, it's their parents. That's why the child can, enjoy this emotional connection. Then that's like contribute their learning outcomes. And in the very end of the audio, he mentioned that actually this emotional connection increase as we grow, which means you have this emotional connection when you are young, but when you grow up, then you have more emotional connection. So like how you feel positively is actually really important when it comes to your learning outcomes. Okay. Emotional connection, and why my connection spelling is so bad? Okay, it's not that problem. Engagement, like how you can engage. Okay, next. Let's see. Oh, that 12 seconds. Here we go.
The content that you are learning, the learning process itself. Spencer mentions the curious example of research that was done in a wine store in Germany. If they play German music, the customer is more likely to buy German wine. If they play French music, the customer is more likely to buy French wine. So there is this influence of different parts of our brain and our emotions on our decision-making and probably on our learning. I guess, too, that it sort of relates to dopamine. There's this dopamine in anticipation of an activity, and there is dopamine after the reward. These are some of the things that we need to engage for successful language learning. Now, I'm assuming that most people who follow me are independent language.
Yeah, so how do you think about this example, Ji-san?
Like he says something we are familiar with, then we are more engaged to it.
Yeah. So, but the story about wine. Do you remember this? The study he mentioned, like how people react differently in the wine shop. Yukiko?
I don't believe it. I don't believe it. So I don't know.
Wait. Okay, there's an experiment. There's a wine shop, and they sell wine, right? But there are various kinds of wine. And so one time they play the music of Germany. So in the shop, you listen to German music. And at that time, people is likely to buy German wine. And if they play French music, people tend to likely to buy French wine. So this is a like an atmosphere or like connection, or I don't know, even is it engagement? So yeah, our brain system is like collecting a lot of information from like surroundings, and it's not like only like what do you read, what do you see. Actually, like all the senses matters, and that affect our reaction. Yeah, Lisa, what do you think about this study?
It's really nice, interesting. Yeah. So like you see something and it shapes your choice. So maybe it's not your first choice, but then you changed after, like after you listen to the music and you.
Yeah. So, like he mentioned about dopamine, or that dopamine's function. Like probably this is his opinion, but like he thinks like if this relates to the dopamine's activity. Yukiko, do you remember this point?
Dopamine? Yes. So he said dopamine. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, what else do you remember about the dopamine?
So connecting, engaged with.
Yeah. Okay. So do you know like hold on. Let me ask this and this news. Do you know the like a Japanese like a baseball player, Otani?
Oh yes, I heard yes.
Yeah. So he was like scammed by his ex-translator and manager.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know this like scandal?
Yeah, I saw it on the internet.
Yes, and why that like ex-manager did was that he allegedly states that he is having he's addict for the gambling. And what gambling is very interesting is that it relates to dopamine. So dopamine, like you're how can I say march? No, excrete. No, excrete. you make dopamine and you feel really excited. That's dopamine's addiction. But there is two occasions dopamine occurs. That he exactly said. Okay, what's the 2 times, Yukiko? In this sentence, it's already here. So.
I didn't catch it.
Okay, here we go. Let's see this sentence. It sort of relates to dopamine in anticipation of an activity and dopamine after the reward. So dopamine occurs, emerges when you receive anticipation. So, I might win. That time, dopamine occurs and the manager gets excited. He can't forget about this excitement. That's why he keep doing it. So it doesn't matter he win or not. Like usually people think when he win, he can get happiness, right? But dopamine after the reward is very basics. Of course, something happy happens. Dopamine after the reward. If you receive reward, of course that excites you. But the problem of gambling is, or problem of dopamine is, you don't have to get reward. You don't have to receive reward. You just anticipate the reward. That kicks in dopamine. And the same things probably happened in this wine shop story. So people listen to German music and people anticipate, Germans like feeling or like that mood. And that might kicks in and affect this buying action of German wine or French wine. That's what I interpreted. Disa, what do you think about?
Yeah, I think it's a very nice explanation related to the dopamine.
Good. Okay. So, so here's a lot about this engagement point. Let me see.
So let's first look at content. Obviously, we should be engaging with content that is engaging. So at the very early stages in learning a language, this can be relatively uninteresting content with a high degree of repetition, because our curiosity about the language, our sense of reward when we start to understand certain things or start to be able to say certain things, that will carry us forward. But there comes a point where we need to select material that we like, where we like the voice, or maybe there's musical background. It's a subject matter that we enjoy. It's at a speed that we can understand. Everything about our engagement with that bit of content is rewarding, and that will maintain our engagement with the content. And if we are engaged with the content, we will learn. Part of this sort of engagement with content is varying the content you listen to, staying with a particular subject matter for a while, where you have some domain knowledge, which is, again, helps with engagement. Or if you're curious about a new area where you have less domain knowledge, nevertheless, you can be motivated by this desire to learn new things. So that's another form of engagement. You want to vary what you're listening to. You may want to go back to some of the earlier beginner material because you're motivated to review certain structures in the language. All of this is ensuring that you have a high level of engagement with the content. In that regard, we live in a world where it's easy to find engaging content, where it's easy to find content that's more similar to the parent reading something of interest to the parent. So it might be a podcast in your target language on cooking or on politics or on a subject of interest. And all of that is going to be more engaging than listening to something narrated by someone that was a text from a language learning book, which typically those kinds of recordings are rather uninteresting and don't spark a high degree of engagement. So the second issue is grammar.
Okay. The last part, I was really, I liked it. So, you're not interested in like learning book materials, like do not have any like showing any interest toward the text. A lot of language textbooks materials, it sounds like that, right? They really like as if it's like a machinery, and like there's no emotional connection or like up and down, just flat, like read out the sentence in the particular speed. Yukiko, what do you think? Yeah, I am talking about this last part. A text from a learning book doesn't spark a high degree of engagement. And the reason is, they hire some like native speakers, and they are just asking, hey, I make this sentence, so please read aloud. And we're going to record it to make materials. And those people do not like invest their enthusiasm, or like they, first of all, are not interested in this text because it was made by someone else. And it's not something they want to, convey any like feeling, no emotion. That's what the audio is really unemotional, and listener cannot form any, like emotional connection towards that. That's why like the textbook materials are always so boring. How do you think about it?
Yes, I agree with that. So if I don't, if I read a book, but I'm not interested in, or so I feel I'm boring. I'm bored.
No, you're bored. Yeah.
I'm bored to read a book. So if I want to read,
okay, Lisa, any comment? Yeah, Yukiko, go ahead. Lisa, go ahead.
I also agree with Yukiko Sensei, because like sometimes I read the Japanese book and because I want to learn, like to read the Genki textbook, but I don't really enjoy it because it's just plain text, And sometimes I don't even understand, or I need more example, but then the book doesn't give me that. So I prefer to watch like videos that people explain more, but not read in the book.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about engagement and content. What do you have to care about content? So, of course, you need to select material that you like, where you have some domain knowledge. And of course, it's better subject matter that you enjoy, and of course, it's better at a speed that you can understand. Because if you don't understand that, you cannot engage. So that cannot generate outcomes. Okay, let's go to the second topic. Second topic is about engagement and grammar. Okay.